Alright, welcome back to Forbes Games. I'm Erik Kain. I'm going to talk about the biggest video game releases of July. Now, July is not known for its big video game releases. It's dead summer. A lot of companies are working on games that they're going to release in the holiday season. A lot of companies are working on bigger projects that will come out starting really in August and sort of ramping up through September, October, November, and into December. This is, the busy video game season, but July is also, when Pokemon Go was released a few years back, and there are occasionally larger releases. This month, not so much, but there are some interesting ones. There's a Plague Tale Innocence, which that's an older game, but it's getting its PS5 and Xbox Series X release, so improved graphics, improved frame rates. This is the story of a boy and girl in a sort of fantastical medieval France. They're on the run from the Inquisition, sort of this brutal Inquisition searching mysteriously for this boy. We're not really sure why. And there's a rat plague that has infested the land. So there's a lot of stealth elements in this game. There's some interesting magical powers, and it's very story-driven. Definitely worth checking out. And if you're a PS Plus subscriber, that is free in July as one of this 3 July PS Plus games. There's also Black Ops 4 and WWE 2K Battlegrounds for PS Plus subscribers. For Xbox Live Gold subscribers, of course, there's the Conquer game, which the furry Conquer Goofy game. I've never played that game. I hear it's quite foul-mouthed, and I look forward to it. But the Xbox Live Gold releases just haven't been that great for a while now, and I think that's because Microsoft is really putting all of their eggs in the Game Pass basket. And speaking of Game Pass, we get one of the first new releases we've had for Xbox Series X, also Xbox One and PC, and that's the Ascent. It comes out at the very end of the month, July 29th. The Ascent is like a cyberpunk RPG that's one of Microsoft's exclusive to Xbox and PC games, one that's coming to Xbox on day one, or Xbox Game Pass on day one, and every month for the rest of the year, Microsoft is promising a game on Xbox Game Pass day one, exclusive to Microsoft platforms. So the Ascent looks really interesting. Looks like a good game. We saw some footage of it during E3, and we'll see. Hopefully it's a big hit for Microsoft. Some of the other games coming out will move from PlayStation and Xbox to Switch. This month sees the release of the remastered Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, which was a big hit on the Wii many years ago. Skyward Sword was one of the Zelda games that made a lot of use of motion controllers, and that's coming back to the Switch version, although there are going to be some changes, and you can play without motion controls. So this is going to be an HD remaster. It's not a full remake, but footage we've seen so far does look quite good, and this will tide us over as we wait for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. That game, actually, from the trailer we saw of that game at E3's Nintendo Direct, there looks to be some sort of flying elements, some sky elements, so maybe there's a little bit more of a link to Skyward Sword, no pun intended. Beyond that, we have quite a few smaller games. There's some mobile games coming out, including NieR Reincarnation, which is coming to iOS and Android, and that's part of the NieR series from Platinum Games. Those are great action games. I don't know if the mobile version will be any good, but I loved NieR Automata. It was one of the best action games that came out in the last few years, so hopefully this is a really good mobile release. One of the bigger Microsoft games, so this pretty good month for Microsoft. There's Microsoft Flight Simulator, which has been out on PC for a while, but it's coming out on Xbox as well. Apparently, it's going to look really great on Xbox Series X, really on par with the extremely demanding PC version. So, that's awesome. That's good news for Xbox Series X. It's not coming out on Xbox One, but I think it's just maybe a little too demanding for older systems. It looks like a fantastic game. We have an interesting one called The Forgotten City, which is like a time loop game where you're sent back in time to this Roman city, and you're thrust into this weird time loop. There's this strange cult where if anybody sins, the city's destroyed, and you've got to go out and find the sinner before they sin. There's probably some weird twist, like it's actually you or something, but it sounds interesting. That one is coming out on PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Then there's Tribes of Midgard coming out on PS5, PS4, and PC. This is an action survival Viking game. Those are very popular these days. Valheim made those super popular. This one looks like a very sort of art style forward game, not very realistic, but more cartoony looking, kind of a bit more of a top-down perspective. Looks fun. Vikings are very popular these days, and really, can you blame people for loving Vikings? Vikings are very lovable, unless they're raiding your village or your abbey or something, and murdering and killing everyone. But when has that ever happened? Chernobylite. That'll be our last game for the month of July. This one looks cool. This is also an action survival, but a very dark, sort of post-apocalyptic one. Everyone knows about Chernobyl. It was a hit HBO limited series, and also a terrible nuclear meltdown in the USSR. This looks to be sort of a fictionalized version of the fallout from that. Very much in the vein of like Metro and Stalker, and very dark post-apocalyptic Russian first-person shooter. This one I'm looking forward to trying out. You know, sometimes these games really click with me, sometimes they don't, but this one looks pretty cool. And that is it. There are more games. There are lots more games, of course, coming out in July, but these are kind of the bigger ones. There's even a Monster Hunter Stories 2 is coming out on Switch, and some other stuff that I haven't really that I haven't really paid attention to or learned about. But these are the big ones. So set some time aside on your busy schedules, and don't forget to get outside in this gorgeous heat wave weather that we're having this summer. So thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to Forbes Games on YouTube, and I will post a link as well to my own YouTube, which you can check out. And take care. Thanks.